Columbus would have been in Florida or off the coast of Florida a lot faster if it weren't for the trip. Okay. Uh, if everyone has had a chance to look at the agenda, are there any suggested changes to the agenda? Hi, Matt. Without
Hi, everyone.
any comment, I'm assuming that there are no changes. And I guess we'll go right along to review of the minutes of 10/28/25 that were aptly done by Leah. Thank you, Leah. That was great. I'm gonna turn around and get a pen and pencil. Any need for correction on any of the minutes? I looked at them and I have nothing to change. They were apparently very complete. With no comment, should I make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted?
Second.
And seconded by Mike? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes as proposed, either say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
And I will abstain.
Appropriately so. Thank you. Okay, they are accepted as proposed. Thank you, Leah. And then I guess we can move on to review update of the drafts of the town plan and any other suggestions or corrections necessary. I believe Leah sent in some suggested corrections. They are very thorough. It was nice to see, and I had also sent in some suggestions based on our discussion last time. And I see that Matt has aptly implemented all of them, except for a refinement, I believe, on the flood suggestions, in that you remove them from the policy section of flood and put them under the recommended actions section, if I recall correctly. So I don't know if Matt, if you want to go through and ask any questions or make any comments or observations, so that we can be of the maximum assistance.
Yeah, and thank you for the comments that you provided, and hopefully I was able to capture all the suggested edits that you had sent in. But if I missed anything,
Yeah,
it
you
was
did.
just not because I was ignoring it. It was just because I just overlooked it. But yeah, I'll just briefly walk through kind of at the high level some of the more substantial changes that I made in addition to addressing the comments. So just kind of going in sequence in the energy chapter. A couple of meetings ago, we had talked about wanting to change the language in the energy chapter to have stronger language discouraging or prohibiting commercial wind facilities in Brookline. So this is on the energy section is on pages 30 to 33.
Is this on the clean or the red line?
And on the red line version, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Pages 30 to 33, as shown on the bottom of the page. So I'm not sure if that corresponds with the exact PDF pages too. But if you want to look at specifically page 31, the top of page 31, I added a paragraph in there that just kind of makes the case for why the town does not want to see commercial wind generation in Brookline. Other towns have kind of a similar language. At the end of the day, commercial wind facilities to really be efficient and to work would need to be located on a ridgeline. And just given the other policies you have in your town plan are related to natural resources and scenic resources and land use planning, it's just not compatible with other policies within your plan. So I just tried to state that more clearly and upfront, that the town does not want to see commercial wind facilities, but making an exception for smaller scale residential facilities. And I mean, I think it's just important to keep in mind too, as we know, it's pretty unlikely, just given the current conditions, that there's going to be any proposal for large scale wind production in Brookline at any time soon. But it is good to have the language in there.
Excuse me, John, you got your hand up? Did you want
I
to?
do. I just have a question.
Yeah,
When I read through it, it's very good and it's very appropriate and there's good logic behind it. How binding is it? And does the town plan have the authority to do that or make recommendations? We're using the word shall, and I'm curious about the authority or the legality of it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for for these types of commercial alternative energy, so for solar or for wind, those generally, most of them are going to the Public Utilities Commission, the Vermont Public Utilities Commission. And the PUC is making a determination if that project is would provide a public good statewide. And they do consider policy language within a town plan in their review process. But I will say, just because there is very strong language in the town plan, it doesn't mean the PUC is going to deny a project. But I think it is to the town's benefit to have as strong language in there as you can for those proceedings. One option for Brookline is towns have an option of developing what's called an enhanced energy plan. There's additional information that you need to include to qualify for an enhanced energy plan, and additional policies and goals you need to address that are outlined in state statute. If a town has an enhanced energy plan, which is often just incorporated into your town plan, but it's just a longer energy chapter in your town plan, then for a PUC proceeding, you get what's called substantial deference. I can't tell you kind of legally what the difference is between normal deference and substantial deference at the PUC level, but we do have several towns in our region that have developed enhanced energy plans to get that additional standing. I mean, you still have standing at the PUC, but that kind of additional consideration for their town plans. It is a more involved process to do an enhanced energy plan, so it's outside of the scope of the current readoption process we're going through. But the town can always, once you adopt your town plan, you could always do an amendment a couple years down the road just to meet the enhanced energy plan requirements, if you wanted to go that route.
And I just have a follow-up. On the Brookline Planning Commission, what authority does this group have to make that decision for the town?
So the planning commission, the responsibility of the planning commission is to develop the town plan and present a town plan to the select board. It is the select board that has to vote to adopt the plan. So if there are some different opinions about any policy language in the town plan, the select board can make changes to the plan that it receives from the planning commission. But it's the task of the planning commission to do the draft and to come up with the draft of the plan.
Great, thank you.
So if there aren't any more questions for now about the energy section, the next section where more significant changes were made, and Stan was mentioning this was in the flood resilience section. So that starts on page 45 again of the redlined PDF. And I did make some proposed kind of more like reformatting too. Right now, the current plan has a flood hazard areas section and then a flood resilience plan, recommended policies and strategies. And I would just recommend, instead of separating those out, just merging those into a flood resilience section. So you have your background information about flood hazard areas in town, immediately followed by the flood resilience policies and recommendations. I recognize in the red line version, it's a little convoluted. So the clean version is easier to read than the red line version for this section, just because I was moving a lot of things around. So it probably looks like I took out more than I did, but a lot of it was just shifting things around. But for the flood resilience section, I did include kind of a high level summary again from your local hazard mitigation plan about flood related issues in town. The goal is not to bring everything from the hazard mitigation plan into the town plan because they're separate planning documents. So you don't need to copy it exactly, but this just tries to provide, addressing the two types of flooding that Brookline deals with, inundation and fluvial erosion, talking about generally where those areas are located in town that are the most vulnerable, talking about the town's experience with past flood events, and then talking about how the town is addressing that. And some of that's included in the transportation chapter because a lot of what the town can do is try and make its infrastructure more resilient. But it also references back mitigation projects that are listed in the 2025 local hazard mitigation plan. And I added language in there too, just that the town plan incorporates the local hazard mitigation plan by reference. So again, you don't have to include the whole plan in there, but you're referencing it, so you're connecting or bringing in the hazard mitigation plan recommendations into the town plan document. Are there any questions on that section?
Well, I reviewed all the lists that I had sent you, and it looks like you implemented everything that was asked. You might have made in a couple places alternative verbiage compared to what I had said, but I was very pleased with what I saw. I know you spent some time on it and you were very thorough.
That's good to hear. And then the last section is towards the end. This is the relationship of Brookline's plan with adjacent towns and with the regional plan. So this is page 69 to page 70 on the red line document. There aren't many changes. I looked at all the town plans for the most part have been updated since Brookline last did theirs. Athens, I think, as you know, is in the process of developing a town plan for the first time. That's still in draft form, but that is moving ahead, hopefully. But there weren't a lot of significant changes to town plans for adjacent communities since the last time you did your town plan. And Wyndham Regional, we just updated our regional plan in July of this year. And there weren't any issues with what you have in your current plan with our updated regional plan. And again, we're just, for this, you're just looking for general compatibility, meaning like there's nothing that Brookline is proposing that would be significantly detrimental to what surrounding towns are trying to do. So it's okay if land use districts don't line up exactly or are slightly different. It's more kind of substantial differences.
Matt, on my red line version,
Mhm.
page 67, town plan implementation methods,
Yeah.
it appears there, it's item number 3, but in the whole scheme of things, I believe it's actually item number 10 with a large capital X.
I don't know.
It was 7, and then on my version, it has 7 and then a V11 period,
Oh,
and then 3 ones and a period. And I believe when I go through and double
yeah.
check, that should be item number 10, capital
Yep.
X.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there are a couple formatting issues like that definitely before I finalize it. And once we're working more on a clean version and not red lines, it'll be easier to catch all of that. But thanks for that. I'll definitely correct that. So those were the more kind of, significant or substantial changes I made since the last draft. There are, as you know, there are some additional things that WRC needs to work on. So we are working on the town plan map updates, and I've shared the correction about Greer Road with Jeff Nugent at our office just to get that accurately mapped. I still need to work on the implementation program for the recommended action steps in the plan. And then, as I mentioned, there's just general formatting issues that still need to be cleaned up. But that's my goal, is for the meeting on December 9th to have the maps, have the implementation program, and then have everything in a kind of cleaner state at that point too.
Or other changes you want to go over, or does that cover them in terms of what you'd like to discuss?
That's all I had. So I know I'll be attending the select board meeting next Wednesday. And what I was gonna do was before I send the plan to the select board, I wanted to have the chance to go over things with the planning commission tonight, and then send them the plan. If I need to make any additional edits, send them the plan tomorrow, ideally, ahead of that meeting on the 19th. There might be comments from the select board at the meeting on the 19th that I will address too for the meeting on December 9th. So that's the only other thing that I would be working on for December 9th, is if there's input from the select board.
I guess I'll ask at this point, did any of the planning committee have any further observations that required an alteration? I've got some formatting things, but as far as content is concerned, I don't have any suggestions. So you'll be sending that revision to the select board. Let's see. The meeting's the 9th of December. You'll be that's a Wednesday. Will you be sending it to us and or the the select board the end of the prior week or over the weekend or sometimes Monday for them to look at it?
Yeah, so I was planning on sending it tomorrow. And I have
Oh, okay.
the I have an email from Mike that includes the email addresses of the select board members, so I can respond to that email.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I think for now I'm not going to fret too much about the final formatting issues, just to make sure we get the select board the plan sooner to look at before their meeting. But Stan, if you have formatting comments, please send them my way. I probably won't get to them before sending it to the select board.
No problem, will do. Oh, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Looking at your last email to this committee as a whole, you mentioned that in the future, upcoming would be the update and corrected maps. And then you mentioned implementation program for the recommendations contained in the plan. And then, of course, the next item is the general document or plan formatting, which you've already brought up. Let's see. So I guess what's the final date in your mind for having those three things essentially completed? I'm trying to look
Mhm.
at between now and the end of the year, looking at
Yeah.
the fact that we need 2 hearings, and I know that at least one of them requires public disclosure or announcement in the news media 15 days before the hearing date. So one of the questions I think I and probably other people on the book committee have is, what time frame are we looking at? Are we as a board looking at creating a notification that needs to be in the paper on the 15th of December? Or are we looking at doing something like that the end of December or very early January? Just so that
Yeah.
it looks like we're going pretty smoothly at this point, and I
Yeah.
just don't want to drop the ball at any point where we delay things.
Yeah, no, so for the meeting on December 9th, right, I would have all those items that you mentioned, Stan, and at that point too, because we've gotten through all the substantial edits, I would just provide you with a clean version of the plan too on December 9th, just so that we can kind of just, so it's a little easier to see kind of what we're moving towards approval on. Um, so, right, and that way too, I can make sure I'm addressing all the formatting issues because it's harder to track those in a red line document. And so I would say at that meeting on December 9th, unless there are any more changes you want to see, um, you would be ready to schedule a public hearing. And for the planning commission, and I can provide this in an email because there's a lot of deadlines to keep track of. But for the planning commission public hearing, you have to provide 15 days notice in the newspaper and posting in town, but you have to provide surrounding towns with 30 days notice. And um, that can go by email to planning commission chairs or town clerks for surrounding towns. And you provide them with the proposed plan and a report about the plan, which I can put together the report. It's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of a summary of what you're doing in the plan. Um, so you need to provide, right, 30 days notice. The planning commission holds their public hearing, and then you can vote to send it to the select board. And then the select board has to hold their own public hearing, and they have to wait at least 30 days from receiving it from the planning commission. So we're trying to get it approved by mid-March. So I would say the latest the planning commission should hold their hearing is the first week in February. So that means you would need to send notice to surrounding towns by the first week of January at the latest. So I think on December 9th, if you're not quite ready to schedule the public hearing, maybe we could have a very short special meeting before the holidays, just to look at a final version of the plan and set the hearing date. I think that's the best approach. I wouldn't want to wait until early January, just so we don't run into any hiccups. Does that make sense? I know that there's a lot of numbers I just threw out there.
Maybe you're saying what I'm about to say, but my thought is that the dates by which we need to schedule these things is, the latest dates are pretty certain, right? So we ought to, just schedule these things, and then we have to just make sure the document's ready. So rather than not schedule till the document's ready, we need to schedule the meetings and make the document ready.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, that's my thought. So
Yeah.
when you mentioned the select board, so I perked up when you said that it has to hold a hearing. And so so when does the select board have to hold its hearing by in this discussion? And when does it need to provide notice, and to whom, of that
Yeah.
hearing?
So the select board also needs to provide 15 days legal notice of their hearing, but they don't need to send the notice to surrounding towns. It's just the planning commission that needs to do that. So
Okay,
Mike, can you remind me the regular meeting schedule for the select board?
first and third Wednesday of each month.
Okay. So that would be March 4th or March 18th. And
Does the plan have to be voted on by the town? I'm just wondering if it's an item that needs to be included in the town report as an item to be voted on and or discussed. So we don't miss that if in fact that's required.
That's a good question. It's not required by statute that it goes to town meeting. I know, for example, at Athens, they have a requirement that if they ever consider a town plan, that it has to go to town meeting. But I think Stan or would you mind looking into that? Because
Sure.
yeah, I mean the last plan was adopted on March 21st of 2018, which makes me think it doesn't have to go to town meeting because that doesn't line up with the town meeting on the first Tuesday of March. But we should just double check that. But I'm pretty sure based on that it wouldn't need to.
Okay, all right, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
So if we have our meeting, as you indicated earlier, first week of January, first week of February. And the select board needs to have it and have it no sooner than, is it no sooner than 30 days or no later than 30 days after?
Yeah, so it's no sooner than 30 days, but no more than 120 days is
Oh,
when they're
okay, so
required to hold their hearing. If that's not confusing enough, it's just
So after we have our meeting in 2 weeks, the select board issues a notice and they hold their meeting sometime during the first week of March, which is
Yeah.
probably town meeting week, which is gonna be very stressful. It
yeah.
probably would be nice to have it either the following week or the week after that even.
Yeah, and the select board can hold their public hearing immediately before their regular meeting. And then
Uh-huh.
and then just like hold the public hearing at 5:30, close the public hearing, enter their regular meeting at 6 and vote to adopt it, which I think is the most efficient way to do it. So if we target March 18th, we're still getting the plan done before the deadline. And to be, let's see, because the Planning Commission, let's see. The Planning Commission, you have a meeting February 10th would be a normal meeting date. So you could hold, the Planning Commission could hold their public hearing on February 10th, and then the plan could get submitted to the select board the following day, February 11th, and that still leaves you that's more than 30 days if they hold their hearing on March 18th.
Now, when you say surrounding towns, is that every town that geographically borders our town? To
Right.
include Dummerston, Putney, Westminster, Athens, Townsend, and Newfane?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
So, Matt, are you saying that March 18th would be, the March 18th select board meeting would also be the meeting where the town, it's the town hearing, it's the select board's meeting for the town people to provide feedback on the town plan? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the public hearing,
Public hearing.
the Planning Commission's public hearing, and the Select Board's public hearing, town residents can attend either of those and provide comments on the plan. The idea is for if surrounding towns have any concerns, the idea is for them to attend the Planning Commission public hearing.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, before we go to that, I just want to get the dates right.
Yep.
March 18th is the select board meeting that should be considered also the public hearing, the select board's public hearing on the town plan. We should,
Yes.
and can that be just part of our agenda for the night? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would just recommend scheduling the public hearing for 5:30 p.m., for example,
Okay.
just so it happens
Okay.
before your meeting starts. And-
Okay.
so it needs to in fact be a separate announced and held meeting. It cannot be part of a normal select board meeting.
I think that's just the,
Recommended.
cleanest way to
I'm
do
happy
it.
to go with the recommendation.
yeah.
So schedule at 5:30 and then regular select board 6:30. Now, as far as notice of public hearing, is it the same deal? We just put the, we put it on our board like we do with regular select board meetings? We don't have to put it in anything else.
So you'll need to, the select board, and I can assist the town with this. The select board needs to provide 15 days notice. So you need to post that at the town office,
Yep.
but you also need to publish in a local newspaper, probably the Brattleboro Reformer.
Oh,
Okay,
so 15, okay, so by March 3rd, 3, publish in newspaper and post on regular posting spot, I guess. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, and that would be a 5:30. Say 5:30 on the 18th, ahead in separately posted from the select board meeting on March 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the agenda for that is basically receive feedback. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. And if you're regular, so what I would recommend too is, if the planning commission hearing, if you don't get any comments from the public, if your regular meeting starts at 6:30, you can just hold the hearing at 6. I mean, you don't,
Said,
you don't
how
need, I
does the
don't, yeah.
public- how is the public accessing the draft plan
Mhm.
to comment on? Or is it draft at this point, or is it approved?
So I would, at the very least, once the planning commission sets its public hearing, at the very least, the town needs to have a hard copy of the town plan at the town office. If the town has the ability, I would recommend posting it on the town's website too. Not all towns are able to do that.
Okay,
Yeah, but those
we
are
can do
the
that.
two main ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would not, we don't need to, we shouldn't post it yet because the planning commission is
Right.
still working on it, yeah.
Right.
Okay, because of those earlier meetings, by the time we get to this select board hearing, it will already have been posted. It's already in the town hall. It's sitting there. It's already posted on our website because of the earlier notification. Okay,
And it should have already been discussed at the planning commission meeting, any issues that
yeah.
there might be. Leah, you have your hand up?
Just a quick thought, while not required, we may also, once it's posted, because we do have the ability to post PDFs on the website. Can you hear me?
Not hearing you.
Could
Not
you,
hear me.
I'll try to increase my volume here.
Something on her end because we're hearing everybody else.
Hang on just a second.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just very quiet.
Very,
Yeah.
very under.
Is it better now or not really?
Not really.
Not really, no.
Hair. Hair better.
Okay,
I've got this end at the maximum. And as Mike said, we can hear everything, or Matt, you can hear everybody else clearly.
Okay, Leah said, in the comments, she said, let me work on it and come back.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
So,
Well, I'm gonna ask you another question, because I don't wanna, I may have missed something, I apologize for taking the time, but am I to understand that both the planning commission and the select board need to put the notice of their meetings in the newspaper?
that is correct, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
can you hear me now, by chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better.
Okay, sorry about that. My only thought was just in the spirit of public feedback that we might, once the plan is posted, which I believe Marjorie can do on our website, or the draft plan, I should say, that we could
Yeah.
send a notice out to the town through the listserv and that sort of thing.
Correct, good idea. We shall do that. And maybe even, we could add the, front porch forum to that as well, to, even be more complete. Let's see.
Just to circle back, so if we're talking about the planning commission holding their hearing on February 10th, then if you back up 30 days, that's again that first week of January. So, which I'm not. Let me see when. Because the planning commission is at the second and fourth Tuesday that you meet.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, because then that would be January 13th. Would be the second Tuesday, so that would not be 30 day enough time.
Well, that's the notice. We don't have to have a formal meeting to
Yeah.
send the notice, do we?
No,
We
you
do
don't.
or we
So
don't?
you don't. It's just
Okay.
I just bring it up, I guess, like and we can finalize it at the meeting on December 9th. It's just if the meeting at December 9th, something comes up and the planning commission needs to meet again before saying, okay, we're okay to send this out. But But if at the meeting on December 9th, the planning commission's comfortable with it, then you don't need to meet again. Does that make,
Yeah, I'm just
make sense?
wondering if, it sounds like we're accounting for everything thus far, and there's going to be a final so-called draft in early to mid-December. It sounds like we may not even have a need to finalize things in the fourth Tuesday of December, whatever date that is. If we plan ahead of time and take everything to consideration between now and then and plan thoroughly. And then just have as a normal part of the process, an understanding of who and then what, who's gonna take care of the sending of the notice to the newspaper and putting it in
Mhm.
the other options and
Yeah.
and then I don't know if we need to meet, I probably should meet just to check on where we are somewhere after that, within that 30-day period,
Mhm.
just to touch bases and make sure we're all in unity and unison on this and everything seems to be going to order without taking any more time than is necessary to accomplish our major goal.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
any sense? Okay, great.
I think that
great.
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Will, John and Leah, will you be able to attend the meeting with the select board on Zoom?
On the 19th, I'm planning on it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good, good. Good, okay. So there'll be four of us all able to entertain any questions. Matt, will you be at that? You'll be at that meeting too, right?
Yes, I will be there too. So, and
Okay,
planning on being there in person.
all right.
Yeah.
Okey doke. Let's see, what else do we need to do for today's meeting? As I say, I've got format things and,
I have a question.
yeah, Mike's got a question.
As far as notice, amount of notices in the paper. Remind me, for the planning committee public hearing,
Mhm.
does that require a notice in the paper?
Yes.
That
Okay.
does, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
when the planning committee puts the notice in the paper for
Mhm.
its hearing, can that same notice also include a notice of the select board public hearing on March 18th?
Um, I think I would recommend against it, just because I think it's better to play it safe and notice them separately. Just because, technically, and this is getting kind of into the weeds, but technically the select board can't
Oh,
really
that's fine.
consider holding a hearing
I
until
accept
they,
your,
yeah.
I accept your recommendation.
Okay.
Follow-up question, follow-up question.
Yeah.
Can we publish two notices in the same newspaper? Two notices, one from the select board, one from the planning committee, because in other words, while we're at it, that same newspaper publication has two notices.
You can, again, I would just I would recommend the select board not notice their hearing until they get the plan from the planning commission. I it's just my recommendation. I
Well,
understand
we
that.
already know, we already know. I think I already know. You tell me if I'm wrong. We're gonna have a public hearing on the 18th of March. The select board's gonna have it because we have to
Mhm.
do that to stay on time,
Mhm.
don't we? I mean,
That's
these
right.
meetings have to take place within the timeframes we're setting, and we have to get the work done we have to back up the work to meet those dates, don't we? Otherwise, aren't we gonna be in violation of something?
We do, but we
Yes.
can't technically, they can't notice that meeting until we've given them a plan, technically. I mean, not to double down on the governance, but I think that makes sense to me. Like that we would have to
Okay.
notice it separately.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the select board can like plan. My recommendation, I guess, is like the select board can plan for it and it can be like on your calendar, the town's calendar. It's just like the actual legal notice should not happen until after the planning commission sends the plan to the select board.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
like the procedural stuff, like I just am always very careful about procedural stuff because this is where like towns get into trouble. Just
Yeah, okay.
legal issues.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
So
All
we
right,
send it,
take your
presu-
recommendation.
We can coordinate
presuming
the
every-
format of the notice with the select board, so you just
Yeah.
take the word perfect or whatever version we send you, and
Yeah.
just substitute dates and times, and you'll be
Yeah.
all set. Save you some work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I understand that. I just never done it before, so that's fine. So, okay.
All right, okay. I know we didn't add anything onto the agenda earlier to the meeting, but if we if there's nothing further to set, I mean, we know we're gonna have a meeting on the, what is it, 9th? Just as a prep and further follow-up. I know I will make revisions in the formatting to facilitate your time, Matt,
Okay.
of those things. There's one situation, I believe. Let me find out what it is. In the flood resilience recommendations,
Mhm.
in one version, under that, there, it looks like item number 2 is included in the description in the paragraph of number 1.
Okay.
When you look further down, it appears that the item number 2 in the clean version is actually item number 3 in the red line version. So there's a crossover of nomenclature, and that continues down
Yeah.
through item 6 in the clear and item 7 in the red line. So I'll
Okay.
make a notation of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've talked even a little more than what we had on the agenda in terms of scheduling, what needs to be done, the order that it needs to be done in, who can do what by what date. And I'll ask again if there's anything more that we need to talk about that anyone can think of. Otherwise, it looks like we might be done for the evening.
Can I just make a request?
Yes,
There were a
John.
lot of dates that were talked about.
Mm.
If somebody could put a schedule of the dates so everybody's clear on that.
I will send it after this meeting. Happy to do it.
Thank you.
And then that way you can
Thank you.
correct me if there's anything misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I can take a look at it.
Great, great. I will try to send the translation tonight before I leave. There are times when it's ready, and there are times when I have to come back on a subsequent date. If for some reason it is not ready by the time I leave the office tonight, I will come in tomorrow before 10 o'clock and see if it's ready and email you, Leah, so that if you need to depend upon that for doing the work you just promised, it will be available.
I've been taking good notes this time. I usually, on those couple of times that I'm a little late or something like that, I like to use it just to check and make sure I have everything. But we should be fine from my perspective. The only thing is obviously posting the video. But I will get this. I'll get the dates out tonight, and my goal is to get the minutes done ASAP, not to have it drag to the weekend.
Yeah, I know you apologize for the so-called lateness of the last minutes, but part of that reason for them being late is me, because I didn't get to that translation file. If you depended upon it at all. Well, otherwise, so I just wanted to make that known. You apologize, but if it might have been me that caused it, so. Don't want anybody taking any heat for anything that wasn't their fault.
Well, I do have some element of governance in my job, and if they need to be posted in 5 days, they should be posted in 5 days. So I own it because I'm the one taking the minutes. So, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I believe it
Okay.
was.
All right. All right. John, any more thoughts?
No, thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Sounds like you got a busy schedule.
thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
for attending tonight's meeting. I appreciate it. It was very helpful. If no other comments, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:55.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank
Good
See you
night,
you.
next
all.
week.
Take care.
Yep.
Thank you. You too.